Castlevania Nocturne has infuriated Castlevania fans with its cringeworthy dialogue and major character changes, but things have gotten even worse as it's being heavily criticized now for talking about racism and equality instead of fighting vampires. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this Niche Gamer article. It says Netflix's Castlevania Nocturne has been highly criticized on social media after showcasing a scene involving a speech about racism and equality. Now, we knew that people creating this weren't actually Castlevania fans, just judging by things like race swaps and major character changes. They don't care about respecting the original material, and people are pretty upset over that, and rightfully so. The first two seasons of the original show that Netflix created were pretty good. They did feature some minor changes, but they basically followed the material and people did really like them. But then season 3 went off the rails, and I think we all did expect this show to be pretty bad, but not this bad, where you have speeches about things like racism and equality by a character who was never black in the first place. Annette was a very pasty white woman, and that's okay to feature characters that, oh my gosh, happen to be white, but no, they decided to race swap her, probably specifically for scenes like this. It says, as opposed to meeting viewer expectations by being a show about fighting vampires, Castlevania Nocturne has delivered a scene where a black woman delivers a speech about racism and equality. And this, of course, is Annette. It says the moment was uploaded to social media where it was criticized mercilessly for its seemingly irrelevant nature. Individuals also claim the show had lower animation quality compared to previous Castlevania shows. I personally think that yes, the quality has drastically declined in every aspect. The animation is worse, the voice acting is worse, the character designs are worse. It just does not capture the same feeling for people that the original show did. And it's like they said, okay, we have our audience, we know how many people are going to watch this, because of course it's got Castlevania slapped everywhere in the marketing material, so we might as well just not put as much time and money into it. And now that they, have hired like the worst writers possible and the quality has declined, people are definitely not afraid to speak their minds on this. Now, I'm not going to play the clip because Netflix is notorious for taking down content, but the quote in this video is, "The sugar and tobacco fields have dried out in the sun, and the spark lit a flame, and it was an inferno, and all their power and cruelty crumbled before us." And then another character yells, "Liberty and equality." I mean, it is the cringiest shit ever, and I hate using that word, but it's definitely true in this case. People do not want to hear things like this in a series about fighting vampires. That's all that we care about at the end of the day, period. Said and done, that's all that we care about. We do not need to sit here and hear things like this about fighting racism and things like equality. That's not what people want to hear in their content. This is why people push back when you change things like a character's race, because if it's one thing, it's usually more than just that. It's never that simple. It's not just, oh, we just decided to do this. Of course, then there's character changes, and then you have to look at dialogue that the character delivers, and then she delivers dialogue like this, and it's a slippery slope, and everything feels different. People do not want narratives shoved down their throat. We simply want good entertainment, and these people cannot provide us with that. Comments also asserted that the main character Richter was being sidelined for Annette, who was race swapped, and she definitely did become like the main character in this. Of course, I did a previous video on Castlevania Nocturne where the official Castlevania Twitter account, well, the Netflix one specifically, had tweeted dialogue that she had in the show where she had said, "That Belmont boy proved to be useless as fuck." Like, that's just not what people want in their shows. That's so lame. I mean, the Belmonts are the main characters of Castlevania, aside from Dracula, and they've made it their life's mission to defeat Dracula. Like, the pure disrespect and the disdain for fans that these people have is just astounding. People are saying things like people wanted Richter backflipping around and messing up vampires. They got current year talking points reframed as revolutionary rhetoric. Yup, and that is why people are bombing this show. The score has gone up a tiny bit since I previously talked about it, but these scores still are not good. I mean, let's forget about the 100% critic review because critics are paid off, and we already know this. It's already been proven. It's already been confirmed. You cannot trust critic reviews, but the audience scores are abysmal for a good reason. Over 250 ratings, and it's at a measly 55%. I mean, people do not like this show. Looks like most of the CG models are rigged by Rooster Teeth in some video game engine, and the voice acting is just some randos they got off the street. It is sad that the quality took such a sharp decline. It feels like that AI animated rock, paper, scissors shit. The animation is weird, the voice acting is bad, and what does this have to do with vampires? Vampires? Well, that's the truth, is that it doesn't have to do with vampires. It's like they sideline vampires to be like, oh, let's push our current day rhetoric in here. Why not? Why is the animation so janky? Should have kept the first series animation style. It's just because they probably didn't have the money. Netflix probably gave them a much lower budget, because in the first 1 to 2 seasons of every Netflix series, it's always so high quality, whether it's, animation and CGI and writing, and they always do so good. And then once they've hooked you and they've got their audience, they completely drop the ball, and it's like they just don't care anymore if the series is good, because they know that dedicated fans are going to watch it, are going to support it. And that is the sad part about a situation like this. Not only is this just a bad show overall because of the content, but it completely disrespects the source material, and it's spits in the faces of fans. I can't really say I'm surprised, but I can say I'm pretty disappointed, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.